Global shipping is once again disrupted tonight after Maersk announced that it will once again suspend its routes that travel through the Red Sea as they investigate security. This decision comes after one of their ships was attacked by Houthi rebels this weekend.
Logistics experts say around 15% of global trade passes through the Red Sea. Maersk joins around a dozen other shipping companies that have also redirected their ships to avoid that region, adding many days to shipping times.
So here with us to further discuss this issue is Jerry Font, former colonel with the U.S. Army with years of experience in the Middle East specifically. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So they are suspending the shipping until further notice. Why has it come to this? And also, what is the motivation in attacking these ships?
Well, first off is that, as Shana pointed out, is that it's about 15% of the global trade goes through there. It's about 9% of seaborne petroleum products, which now you start looking at gas prices here, especially in the wintertime. This is prompted by Iran. I mean, Iran's trying to create this air of chaos in the Middle East. They successfully got the Abraham Accords put on the back burner with Saudi Arabia after it looked like they were going to, Saudi Arabia was going to sign on to the Abraham Accords and formally recognize Israel. 4 other Arab countries have done this. If Saudi Arabia had done this, that would have been a linchpin for the area for a lot of other Arab countries to do this. This is exactly what Iran does not want. So they're using every proxy that they can to do a peripheral attack really on the U.S. using proxies to be able to distract us. And it's really, I'll invoke Ronald Reagan. He said, peace through strength. We're not exhibiting that right now. And we've got enough military force to put in there. Iran has now moved a ship into the area. Their Navy's really not that threatening. And it's in the interests of so many other countries to keep that waterway open. And just for comparison, just find out what kind of a choke point that is. It's about 18 miles across. So if you think about the Straits of Mackinac times about 5, it's about the same. So you can really get across there in a reasonable ship, a boat, a small boat managed by 8 people aboard these merchant ships.
So what should we read into Iran sending a warship to that region? Is that something that we should be very concerned about? Couldn't the U.S. still easily just squash this whole thing, or no?
Yes, we could. Yes, you're spot on. We could easily do that. When you look at the 2 carrier strike groups that we have in the area, plus as we had talked about that one reconfigured nuclear ballistic submarine ship that had been transferred over to 154 seaborne, sea-launched cruise missiles, we have plenty of firepower in the area. And we basically have put a air missile defense umbrella over the whole area. Have you heard of one of those missiles or drones hitting a ship? It's because we're taking them out. So it's effective.
You mentioned the chaos that is playing out there. Could this be an indicator of some more of those problems spilling over, bleeding over even more and affecting even more countries as this continues to play out?
I think that might be Iran's goal, is to continue this chaos, keep us distracted, and try to widen it and broaden it as much as possible, because now as they're doing that, you're hearing more and more calls, going back to Hamas about Israel pulling back on their attacks in Gaza.
Yeah, so I don't know, I feel like we've kind of asked this, but I'm trying to figure out what is that end game for Iran? You create chaos, you still have the strength of the United States and the United States' allies, so what could its final goal really be, or is there one?
Its long-term goal is to get the United States out of the Middle East. So to wear us out, wear us down so that we're tired of it and we get out of the region. That is their stated goal.
Yeah, and it's also getting us to a point where we can't ignore what's happening over there, because this could start to affect us if these products aren't able to get shipped out.
Correct. And Terrence, I think part of the problem too is that you have John Kirby, who is the spokesman for the National Security Council, stating on television saying that we don't want to broaden this. I wouldn't say that. I would say, we have all options on the table to manage this. This is about the freedom of navigation of merchant vessels, and we're going to make sure that happens.
Yeah. Now, the U.S. Navy did sink a couple of Houthi boats over the weekend. Any indication that will escalate, that kind of firefight there?
Not certain, but it certainly sent a message that finally that we did, using helicopter gunships, we took out 3 of their boats that were trying to attack merchant vessels.
And just moving forward, do you see this just continuing and being a back and forth, or do you see it getting worse?
They're taking a script out of, not to get too philosophical, but Sun Tzu. And that is that when your enemy's strong, just do pinpricks on them and see how they react. And when they start to retreat, then that's when you attack. You know, but so long as they're strong, don't be too forceful.
The art of war.
The art of war.
All right,
Listen to
retired
you.
colonel. You read a little bit.
You're awesome. I didn't doubt you. You do. So.
Jerry Fahn, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.